Welcome to the EdTech Unpack podcast, where we inspire and equip educators to create meaningful learning experiences that highlight thoughtful approach to the integration of technology as we teach and transform the lives of our students. I'm Desmond.
And I'm Aaron Long, and we are passionate about helping educators learn how to better use technology to engage their students. And today's episode is a bit different. We are going to be sharing the journey of how Desmond learned video production and then taught his students filmmaking, which led to producing an award-winning student film. But before we get there, Desmond, let's get to know our hosts, you and I, a little better by today answering the question of, what's your favorite ice cream flavor?
Oh man, I a little while ago it would have been Oreo, but I think I've recently transformed into something with like a vanilla ice cream base, peanut butter, and chocolate. And there's a few different combinations of that, but it's kind of a new thing for me. I'm excited about it.
All right, well, I love peanut butter, so I'd like to try whatever you just described, but I'd have to go with cookie dough myself.
That's a good one.
That's been my longtime favorite. Stick with that. So. All right, that's low tech, but hey, man, let's get to unpacking the tech. So let's do that, and let's hear a little bit from you and your experience with film production.
Let's unpack the tech. So today, I hope it's not going to be a little, too crazy, and it's a little bit of a different thing. I'm going to a little bit tell my story. And then you can't see them probably yet, but I have my students off just next to me. I have four of them here who have helped or were part of creating the student film that we made. And so I'm excited to have them tell a little bit about their experience. But this is a teacher-focused podcast, so I want to tell a little bit of my journey. My first time I ever made a film, and I'm kind of curious, maybe this should have been our introduction question. The first time I ever made a video was in my educational technology class in college. When was yours, Aaron?
Man, I think I even referenced this on a previous episode, but it was my first teaching job, and we would do a student production every year that was like a play. Mm-hmm. And then I think our second year doing it, we decided to have this play/video production combo.
Oh, yeah, you've talked about that.
And that was the story where I lost all my footage and had to rebuild it. That was the first film I remember producing, quote unquote.
Wow, that was a big one to start with. Yeah. And I'll link mine. I think I'll have all of them on YouTube at random places. So my first one was To Be Suave. It was supposed to be an educational video, but I didn't want to make a boring educational video, which is kind of the theme of my video production career. And so I made one about how to go on a date and how not to go on a date. And it was pretty epically terrible. I don't know if my students have seen it yet.
I should watch it.
I'll send it to you. It's on YouTube. There's some other terrible stuff.
It.
You watched it? Was it pretty terrible?
I watched it. Well, I could tell you tried hard, and so we're just going to stick with the effort you put in.
We tried
really good,
really hard, and it was definitely my first project. Okay, then the next year, I really liked that, and I went off to be an assistant chaplain at another school for a year, and in that time, I was borrowing other people's cameras, and I was making things. And I ended up buying my first camera, this Panasonic 3CCD glorious tape. It was the mini DV tape, and it's a fun camera. Still works. I made a few projects with that year, and then I kind of set everything aside for about 10 years. I'll link a few of those. And then I was working on my master's, and in the middle of my master's, COVID hit. And and then I had some videos that I started making for my classes, and also our sponsor, no more than a sponsor, our parents, Adventist Learning Community, also hired me to make some courses. And so I ended up just making courses with my videos for both the courses and for the courses I was teaching and the ones I was taking, on my cheap $350 Pixel 3a, which was a pretty great phone, but it did a lot, but I really pushed it to the limits. So I made a teaching from home video. I made a course on how to do group Bible studies. Then I made some content in Adventist Learning Community about how to teach from home and stuff like that. And I was really feeling like I was pushing the limits. I was like, I am squeezing everything I can out of this poor little sad phone. I want to make better stuff, but I can't make it better with this equipment. And so I went out and in 2021, I bought my first real camera. This is the Sony A6400. And they still sell this camera for like the same price I paid for it. And it was a great camera. I enjoyed this camera. I still use it regularly. And it was, I really enjoyed using it. Still enjoy using it. And so that was in 2021. And then a year later, well, actually, in that, let me go. When I avoided getting into video for a long time in photography because I knew if I did, I would get the sickness. And I just dove so deep. I like drowned in videos and in content about it. And I just dove so much, and I have spent too much money over those years. Found ways to make a little money on it too, but spent too much money on it. And then a year later, my school administration approached me and said, "Hey, do you want to teach a photography class, a 1-semester photography class?" And I was like, "Sure, it sounds fun. I don't know how to do it, but it sounds fun." And so a couple of my students, maybe we'll go to Wide Shot. We had Chris and Nicole and Gabby were decided to take this class. I don't know why did you guys decide to take this class? I think that's our first question.
So
Speaking to the mics.
In middle school, I was part of like a photography yearbook thing that I had to take pictures during events. So I really liked photography. So when I saw it as a course we could take, I was like, whoa, I really want to learn more about photography.
Cool. Do you want to share?
Can I go after Gabby?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to ask a lot of questions. You don't have to share on every question. Right. Just only if you have something you feel like sharing.
Yeah, so what I wanted to join is my grandma had this small little video camera that she had. I still have it. And so I used to take pictures on it, and I really liked it. And then I saw, like Nicole, that they were offering it at school. I was like, that looks like a fun class. So I decided to take it.
Yeah, and then Chris was already starting to YouTube a little, right?
Oh, yeah, I was. So I started video creating.
Talking to the mic.
I started video creation 7th grade. Mm-hmm. And it was when you were teaching us coding. And then I didn't do much after that. And then photography came for electives. I didn't raise my hand. So I went to robotics. But we weren't doing anything for like 2 weeks, so I joined.
Mm-hmm. You joined late, I forgot that. And we'll let Whit talk later. He didn't join the class, but he got involved as an actor later. But I dove straight in, they started, we did the course. It was supposed to be a semester, but then I was like, well, can I do video second semester? And so we did a semester of photography and then a semester of video. And how'd you guys feel about the course?
I liked it. I liked filming the Week of Prayer videos the most. That was when we got our most practice was Week of Prayer.
Yeah, so at our school, we do a student week of prayer, a spiritual emphasis where our students speak. And in that, we record the weeks of prayer for our elementary. And so that was really the time we did a video project for that. And we've been doing it for several years now. And so then at that time, I was like, well, I want to do more. They want to do more. Let's make an advanced videography class where we can make bigger projects. And so they continued on that. And I wanted to make a documentary. We made a documentary where we interviewed a Jewish rabbi in a synagogue. And then we made some other like vlog style stuff over the years. And we also had the opportunity, this one just showed up where we had a Holocaust survivor who came in and did a chapel, and a really powerful story. And I wish we had a better setup for that. We just it was last minute throwing everything together. And still is our most viewed video on our channel because it's an amazing story. Story wins every time. But during that first year, we had, do you guys remember the equipment we started with?
The phone?
We had these old Android phones. And with those, we really couldn't do anything. So I went to our school board and asked for some money. The superintendent was there, and he's like, well, you could ask for a technology grant. And I was like, really? let's ask for a $5,000 technology grant. And so we bought 3 cameras, 2 better lenses, tripods, 2 lights, SD cards, and a few other accessories. And we that's what we made our stuff with and learned with. And we still are using 2 of the cameras right now. We still use that equipment like all the time, almost every day.
Hey, Desmond, can I jump in here and ask you a question about your process? Because I'm sitting here listening, sorry, and I'm thinking about, you're still kind of new to the game at that point. You're
Very
trying to
much.
figure out what to buy. So I'm curious, how did you go about deciding what equipment to buy, what cameras and lenses? Because there's a lot out there, and a lot of it's very expensive, and you kind of get in this decision struggle at times when you're in that exact spot. So how did you go about that process?
Yeah, it was hard because we wanted to get, it was $5,000, which sounds like a lot, but you can spend $5,000 and still not have a camera. And so I'd spend a lot of time reading reviews and watching reviews, mostly videos. And we ended up getting the Sony ZV-E10. Got 3 of those. And we got the kit lenses that came with them that we've barely used. Actually, one of them we use regularly. And then I watched reviews on lenses. I wanted to get a variety of stuff. So we got the Sigma, I think 56 1.4, which is a beautiful portrait lens. And then we got a Tamron 17 to 70 2.8. If you don't understand those numbers, don't worry. And that was a great like zoom lens, medium zoom lens, which I'm using right now on these boys.
So I want to highlight something you just said there. And you talked about this a few minutes ago, how much time you spent on YouTube.
Yes.
Just watching videos. And confessional, I think that's how most of us that are in this space on some level, how we learn. I'm literally passively watching videos sometimes while I'm at work.
Yes.
That, you're doing comparisons. You'll have people doing comparisons between cameras or lenses, or if you're into live streaming, switching boards and lights. And you don't have to necessarily carve out a big chunk of your day. You can listen while you're driving, throw it on in the car, and just listen to the description of, thank you. But, using the expertise that exists out there and not making it more difficult than it is. You don't have to come in with a high level of competency and understanding. Just go to the crowd, go to YouTube, and look at all the great content there where people already do these comparisons and guide you towards, you can search for most affordable, high quality camera. You can just put in the things that matter to you, best lens for videography on a budget, things like that. And within a matter of hours, and it sounds like a lot, but it's really not when you're kind of passively consuming, you can really learn a lot. And so I appreciate that was your journey, because that's been mine and continues to be mine as I learn.
Yeah, I think both of us have really only learned through basically YouTube and then asking questions to people that know, but mostly YouTube. Because when I got this camera in 2021, I didn't know how to do any of the manual settings. And then a year later, I'm teaching it and buying more equipment. And so I did that by mostly passively, but watching a ton of reviews. When you watch the reviews, you learn the things that are valuable and the things that aren't valuable, the things people look for, the things they don't care as much about. And I've encouraged my students to do the same. That's actually part of my teaching is I say, I want you to go and go watch a bunch of reviews and then come and tell us kind of a review of their reviews. Because by doing that, they get to understand what is good and what isn't good. And then not only reviews, tutorials, and all that kind of stuff, just consuming it passively and then directly really made a big difference. And so I did all that. And then, but coming to teach it, I barely knew how to use my camera at that time. And so we watched, it was a film series by Carl Taylor, The Basics, and we watched it together. I knew some stuff, but I really learned a lot more when I started teaching it. And so we watched that. And then for the video, we watched a master's class by MKBHD about videography and production. And then we put it into practice. And all of them made their own student films, short little films that I'm sure they want to show No? Okay.
I love those.
They were wonderful. We're going to watch them again here in a couple months as I teach that again. They're only public if they want them public, but and so yeah. But then the following year we wanted to do even more, and so coming to do a bigger production, one of the things I really wanted to teach them was what it was like to be on like a film set. And quite frankly, I had never been on a film set. The only film set I've really been on is one we did. I have a lot of friends who have been on film sets and who are filmmakers. And then as well, I watched a bunch of videos again that take you onto the film set and show you what's going on. And so I asked for a grant of $10,000 from a great organization called VersaCare. And I think we're going to do a later episode about grants and hopefully interview someone from VersaCare directly. And so so we got a $10,000 grant, and I wanted to buy equipment that was more of that kind of level. I know that you can't buy Hollywood production equipment, but now you can buy that type of equipment. So we got anamorphic lenses, which are super fun. All right, the anamorphic lenses are really fun. They stretch out the frame in a cool way. They looked really cool. And we got a Sony FX30 that we're using right now for this. And we bought really fancy microphones, and it was a lot of fun. And so we wanted to produce it, and I went to the students. And now, actually, before we talk any further, I'm going to have them introduce themselves. Make sure you guys come close to the mic. Which side are we going to start on? This side.
First.
Let's start with the boys.
Okay.
Tell us your name, your current grade, and then what you did on the film.
Hello, I'm Christopher Kolnick, and I'm in 11th grade, and I was the gaffer.
Gaffer, which is lighting. And get close to the mic.
Hey, I'm Whit, and I'm in 11th grade, and I was one of the main actors.
There you go.
Hi, I'm Nicole. I'm in 11th grade, and I was director.
Sorry, I don't have enough headphones for everyone. It's a problem.
Hi, I'm Gabby. I'm a senior, and I was the director of photography in the film.
Yeah, and the goal was to have them do as much of the work as possible. And so I went to them, and the goal was, I told them, I want you to decide what the film is going to be about, what we're going to do. And so the stipulation I gave them was it needed to be between 5 and 10 minutes long, short film. We're not making a movie. You guys wanted to make a movie at first, right? Yeah. Aren't you glad we didn't make a movie?
No.
Yes.
No, you wanted to make a movie.
Yeah.
It would not have been done.
In our time frame, the movie would not have worked.
It wouldn't have worked, but I wish we would have.
It would be fun to make something longer, but realistically, it's a whole nother scale to make a movie. But a short film is kind of the style of a movie, just shorter. And so I told them 5 to 10 minutes long, and then it needs to have a strong spiritual or moral emphasis, point to it. Otherwise, they were going to make a movie about.
Nico and Toby.
It was like zombies taking over the world, and they keep talking about it now. So we actually used AI to do some script playing, and I want to encourage you, have AI write scripts for you. How good were the AI scripts?
They were awful.
They were really funny.
Funny. Well, the big thing that I noticed was bad about them is that they didn't have story to them. Like they were really lacking in story. They told it, but they didn't have the really climax, and they were missing soul to them. It was like the motivation was gone. Like none of the characters had motivation, but it was really fun to use AI as a way to pick things apart because we weren't criticizing an actual author. We were criticizing an AI author. And so we could talk about story by making AI scripts and then taking them apart. And then so we batted ideas around for a while. And then, Nicole, do you mind sharing? It wasn't just you, but what we settled on and why?
Okay, so we decided to make a film on the blessing of the Sabbath. And that is because when we were sharing our stories, I had mentioned how there was a period of time where I was not going to church at all, which is on the Sabbath. So that's the main reason why we did that.
And so, and several of the students, that became like the consensus between them of the plot that we wanted to do. And, for those of you who aren't familiar, not everyone in our audience is a Seventh-day Adventist, but the Sabbath is a really important spiritual thing to us in that and sometimes it can be a misconstrued. So on Saturday, we take Friday night through Saturday, we take the day off, we don't work, we go to church, we spend time with friends and family. But sometimes it can turn into a stressful job almost, right? Like we've made it stressful, but we believe it's supposed to be a blessing. And so they wanted to make a film about it being a blessing. So the film's name is His Blessing, referring to God's blessing. And so we batted some plot around, and we'll link the film so you guys can watch it. But it ended up, we wanted to show a film by teenagers for teenagers that was a higher quality production that they could produce. There's a lot of content made by teenagers, but there's not a lot of well-produced content by teenagers. It's a lot of just like grab a camera and run around doing things. And so we ended up featuring two teenagers. We had Whit. You want to explain your role in the film?
Yeah, so I was one of the main actors, and my role was playing a character, and I forgot his name.
I forgot his name too. It's not mentioned in the film.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter to you guys.
But he was invited to go spend time with one of his friends on the Sabbath and enjoy it and relax. And he was going to, however, he spent it doing nothing really. And when he got back to his friend and his friend looked all rested and blessed, he was tired and sad, felt empty.
Very good. Yeah. And so we had these two characters, one that did and one that didn't. You can watch the film and how one was blessed and one was exhausted and felt kind of empty. But making the film, we ended up going to 5 different locations. We rented another school to film in. It ended up being just over 5 minutes. We got Whit making basketball shots and missing most of them, but then making one. And it was a lot of fun. So, I guess, Aaron, do you mind asking a question or two for the student? We can start with Chris.
Yeah, you bet. I guess a lot of things have come to mind already, but I'm wondering from the students here, what was the most challenging thing about this experience for you guys?
The most challenging experience, I'd say making the script for it and helping, and then like planning locations. But like other than that, I didn't really have the hardest part.
Well, what did you do then? What did you learn in the process?
It's tough making films. It's not easy.
You see it and you think it's an easy thing, and then you get into it and it's
like, I want to make this whole film, and then when you get to it, it's like, I don't want to do this. So much planning and work, and then you gotta like call locations and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, our primary location we rented actually, there was a miscommunication on their end, I guess, and we went to go on the shoot day, and no one showed up to open the door, and then we had to go reschedule for another day. But let's talk about lighting. What'd you learn about doing lighting through the whole process?
It was fun messing around with the Kelvin and the percentages to make like that dramatic effect for some of it. But then like you also have to like get the correct positioning and like height and get on the right side. And the most fun part with the lighting was the window shot where we made it like look like the sunlight while there was like nighttime basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we tried to make we filmed a shot inside at nighttime, but we were trying to make it look like it was daytime. Him washing the dishes. Gabby, you get really excited about the director of photography, and that's probably a role that a lot of people don't understand. You want to tell us about kind of your excitement and what you did with that?
Hold on. Okay. I think I was excited because I kind of got to see what I imagined come to life. Like, in terms of how I pictured it, like the scenes I wanted to see, I got to work with it. Like if I wanted it to be a little more moody, I got to control how it was done. And I thought that was really cool.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you. And then we brought you on a little later to the, like, you were an actor, so you weren't involved in the initial planning. Had you done acting before?
Never.
So I'm going to ask Nicole next what it was like to direct you, because she did a lot of coaching on you. But what was it like trying to get into character and then doing it in like multiple takes and all that kind of stuff?
So it wasn't hard to get into character, but it was really hard to hold back my laughter because when you're shooting with all your friends, it's a very giggly set. And so we had to kick out my co-star every once in a while.
If he wasn't on camera, he was in the other room.
Yeah, because I would just open my eyes, burst out laughing. Great time. But getting into character, I would say, is not hard, but it can be difficult to maintain the right mood that you set.
Very good. And Nicole, what was it like coaching him and Nicholas, the other actor?
Okay, so when I was writing the script on the actors, I had already right after I finished the actor's script, I envisioned them as Whitty and Nicholas, and I was like, wait, why is this perfect for Whit and Nicholas? So I felt like they were like their character in some way or another. So I feel like that was easier for them to get into character because they already kind of understood their character in some sense. So it wasn't that hard working with them. Whit, I don't know how, because he had never acted before. He surprised all of us. Whit, I mean, both of them, they were both great. They did an amazing job. But asking them, I didn't want to be asking them to do this and do that. I wanted it to come naturally. So just going over the scenes and the positions and what they were supposed to do during that scene, and then them making it come to life, it was really fun and interesting. It wasn't that hard with them because they were so cooperative.
Very good. Aaron, do you have any questions for any of them?
Yeah, hearing them talk, I'm kind of wondering. I have some other questions, but this just popped in my head. Did you guys struggle with like disagreement over the vision and direction? And then if you did have disagreements, how did you handle, making decisions about the film, whether it be nuances or big picture stuff?
Okay, I'm gonna repeat this real quick because not everyone has headphones. But yeah, so did we have any disagreements on like the vision or the direction, and then how did we resolve that? It's probably gonna be a question mostly for one of you two. Because Gabby really was the visual story of it, and then Nicole was the director telling the story. So either of you can answer that, or both of you.
Okay, so me and Gabby worked together like most of the time, but she was so passionate about her vision of like the aesthetics of the movie. So we had some disagreements a little bit sometimes on how we wanted it to be framed or the lighting, but mostly she did that. But we did most of it together.
Yeah. I think the main disagreement, I think, was with us is because at first I saw the split screen, but I didn't quite understand it until we were almost done with filming. So in the film, we have a split screen where it's like Nicholas's Saturday and then Whitty's Saturday. And so when we were planning the split screen, I had a hard time remembering who was on what side and then what they were supposed to look like. And then finding locations that matched both places in the aesthetic that I wanted.
Because we were contrasting both characters back and forth at the same time. And so you had to get their individual framing right, but when you look at the camera, you see the whole thing.
Yeah, so it was difficult making sure that one was on the right, one was on the left, and not forgetting or maintaining consistency, Christopher, throughout the film.
And I think we got most of that. There's a few spots I would have done a little different, but we got most of it.
What I hear them saying is a little bit, they mostly understood their roles in the film, like whose decisions things were. So I appreciate that because I think you guys had clarity. And I have to say that whole framing left and right split screen thing was one of my favorite parts of the film because I watched it and I thought you guys did an excellent job. And I thought that was so interesting. Really well done.
Excellent. Thank you. I appreciate that. Go ahead.
I have a follow-up question, whether it's for the ladies or the fellas here. I'll let you decide, Desmond, but I would like to know, what was the most rewarding part of this process for you guys?
I think it would be, I think to see it done was the best part for me. Was like, how many weeks was it? Like a month almost?
It took us, we did the whole thing in less than a month, I think, which was too fast. Next year when we do it again, we're going to start working on it ahead of time, but we didn't have our equipment in time. We had to scramble. We were blessed. Our school board allowed us to buy the stuff before our grant got approved, but still we like got our equipment and a couple of days later we were filming. It was so we had barely enough time to even know our equipment, and it was, yeah.
So that's what I feel was the most rewarding in terms for me, was because we had little time and then we did it, and then seeing it done and then showing it and then talking about it, I think was really cool.
Cool. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So the most rewarding part for me, I feel like I've always wanted to product a film, and doing it with my friends and making the vision that we had come to life felt so nice, and it was so fun working together with them, and then taking that to a place very far away and then showing it to other people was just, it made me so happy to be there with my friends and my teacher and having the opportunity to talk about it and share the experience that we had, especially as high schoolers. So that felt really good. Nice.
Yeah, I want to talk about what you mentioned there for a minute. I was looking for a right transition. So the reason we were so crunched on it is because we had a goal of submitting our film to a film festival. We had that goal from the beginning of the year, and our goal was simple. It was, we want to submit it, and we hope we can get it accepted. And so in the Seventh-day Adventist system, there is a film festival for students, mostly college students, but they also really encourage and want high schoolers to go there. We need more high schoolers involved. So if you're at an Adventist high school and you hear this, please, it would be awesome to have more high school student films. But we wanted to submit this. This is the Sonscreen, S-O-N, Screen Film Festival. And so it's in California. We're in Richmond, Virginia. And we wanted to submit it to that festival and then hopefully go out to see it on the screen. And we were, even if, so we had to make, before we found out whether our film was going to be actually shown or not, we had to decide whether we were going to go or not. And so we got another grant to help us go. That's 3 grants, by the way, which is pretty incredible. We got another grant to help us go, and our school board helped us go and actually told us to go spend longer out there. We were really blessed with the whole process. So we went out to LA. We got to tour around LA and see the backlot of Universal. I had a friend who works at Universal. We got to see the backlot and see a bunch of cool things in LA. And then we got to go to the Sonscreen Film Festival. And that was one of the most rewarding things to me was when we got to see it on the bigger screen. And then Nicole got to go up there and represent us and talk about the film. And that was a really proud moment for me to be able to see the hard work that these students put in, feeling like it had really meant something. It meant something the whole time, but to mean something to other people, right? To be able to put it on a bigger screen, to be able to see it with an audience was really an exciting thing. And then what happened at the film festival that is sitting on that table? Do one of you guys want to tell us what that is?
We won Best in High School.
Yeah, we did. So yeah, we won Best in High School Film Festival section. There weren't enough high schools represented. We blew it away, but we also had a really good other high school or student film that we would have been happy to lose to because it was really incredible. but it was really cool to be able to then win it. But I quite frankly was just more proud to see it on the screen and watch it with you guys in the audience. Winning it was icing, but that was the most exciting part to me.
Man, that's what they call going 0 to hero there. I mean,
Yeah.
First off film, and you guys are award winners. So how does that feel? I mean, I hear a little bit about how it feels, but you guys have to be pretty proud of that.
Chris, how does it feel to be an award-winning film?
It feels very good, and is an experience I won't forget.
How does it feel to be an award-winning actor in a film? I mean, it was the whole film that got it, but
Every time we show the film somewhere, like one of the churches, everybody will come up to me and Nicholas and usually forget the people that produced it, and they'll only go up to the actors and say, "Wow, you did so great." Like we carried the entire thing on the shoulders. I enjoy it, but that's what I enjoy. That was my icing.
that was interesting the way you phrase it, because it does give us insight that it's easy to think that a film is just the actors, and in Hollywood, the actors get all the credit. Occasionally a director will get credit, but there's such a big team behind it that do such good and hard work to make a good film happen.
I do have a follow-up question for the crew here.
Yeah.
What would you guys what would your top tips be for teachers and students out there that are maybe thinking about getting involved? I mean, think about a teacher that really doesn't have any experience in this space, but they're like, man, that's inspiring. I'd love to do something like that with my students. They've heard from you guys talking about how rewarding this was. What would your top tips be to help another teacher or a group of students out there get started?
I think the biggest tip would be start, basically. I don't know how, but just get a plan together or just start small. Just start, basically, because not everything needs something big. Just do a little step, like buy a camera and then do some little videos teaching something, because that's what we did. Because we started, our first video in this club was how to do scissors or how to use scissors.
Oh, yeah, which I found on my computer the other day. It was Chris, how to use scissors tutorial.
Yeah, it's really like everything about planning and organizing, working together is very important. And like Gabby said, start small. Like you don't have to produce a big film or short film. Like start making 1-minute videos that you think is going to be creative or inspire someone else, and you think it's fun. So have fun with your content.
I love those answers. You
I
guys
like
have
that.
something to add?
That's great.
Definitely do your research on how to use the camera properly
And make sure that you have enough recording media.
and SD cards.
Yeah.
And learn how to use it, and then learn how to like film and stuff. So yeah.
Never forget your SD card.
And to add to that, we forgot to mention we have some people missing right here. So Nicholas, our other actor, had to leave. He tried to say he wasn't able to stay. And then we also had Dimitri, who did our audio. And that poor guy, he was holding that boom pole, sweating like crazy in a lot of times, and he had to hold the boom above his head, but he was on point. And you'll hear it in the film. And then also Devon, who was our camera person. So he filmed. There's like a couple scenes that someone else had to film.
I think I had to, because he's in one of the scenes when
Oh,
Nicholas
yeah.
and Whitty are at the park.
But he learned how. I was really proud of what he did, and this is good advice. Like, and goes what Chris said, is that all of them, but especially Devon, really dove in to learn the equipment on his own, because I couldn't teach all the different roles and all the different equipment. I had to have them go do research, which is really what I wanted them to do. And so he even learned some equipment that I still haven't figured out how to use. Particularly, we have a follow focus that I need to a LiDAR follow focus I need to learn how to use. So he really dove in and learned that. And I want to wrap up with this. I love the way you guys framed it there with just do it. I hope that I want to share this story for a lot of reasons, but a big reason to encourage you teachers is that, like, I started with terrible videos that you might see linked and laugh at me, please. They were awful. But I did them, and I'm leaving them online as long as I'm able to because they are my history. They are awful, and I want you to see them. And then I picked up a pretty budget camera because I wanted to up it. But before I did, I was just using my phone and free editing software, DaVinci Resolve. Hard, but amazing and free. And I don't want to edit with anything else anymore. And so, I used a lot of free stuff or things I had and slowly built up. And then when we went, I started teaching, and this maybe isn't advised, with really no equipment. And then over time, we asked. People saw that we were doing good work, and they saw that what we were wanting to do. We cast a pretty clear vision, and that made our school and other people want to give us resources so we could do more. And then we've been good stewards of those resources, and we're using the equipment. We've got really with the computers we also got and everything, over $20,000 in equipment. And most of that has been grants that we've asked for. And so, get out, do it, ask for help, ask for people, watch a bunch of stuff, and you can make pretty awesome stuff. I'm proud of these students, and I'm proud. Watch out, next year we're planning on producing another film. Unfortunately, Gabby's graduating. We'll find a way to try to get her involved. We are just get out and do it. Start doing it.
And I love what your student there, I don't have everybody's names totally down, but she framed it around, starting with videos that you're interested in, that you're excited about or passionate about. And that's what I hear you saying too, Desmond. Get excited, be passionate about it, and then just dive in. You're going to start wherever your competency is right now. Mm-hmm. Don't let that hold you back. Consult YouTube. If you didn't hear us in the lead in here, use the resources out there that are free and easy to access that'll help you take your vision and actually put it into action. Starting small is okay, but getting started is the key. So don't let any of these technical concerns or lack of knowledge prevent you from getting started because, wow, we've heard some great stories today from your students that have had a great experience, and what a foundational memory now from their high school life of not just making this video, but traveling to California, winning an award, getting to tour behind the scenes at a studio. And what inspiring stuff here. I really appreciate you, Desmond, and your students here for just teaming together. You guys are the perfect example of a group of people that didn't have all the experience that you might think a group of teachers and students might need to pull off something like this, but you did it anyway. You won an award, and what a great just testimony to what's possible if people just follow their passion here and let their excitement kind of fuel that journey.
Amen. Very good.
So, hey, it's time to wrap it up, I think, Desmond. We've heard quite a bit about just what this journey is like today as we took our venture into EdTech Unpacked. We heard about not just how you got started, but kind of the culminating experience there of winning an award. And wow, if we could all just produce an award-winning video here and do an episode, how cool would that be? But we loved hearing your story about it.
Very much do it. And please send your EdTech problems to be solved, even if they're video stuff. Aaron and I love engaging that. That's something we enjoy doing. Your EdTech problems to be solved, we'd love to help you solve them. Go to our website at edtechunpack.com. And we're also on LinkedIn, and we're going to be adding other social media stuff too. Follow us on LinkedIn and hopefully some other stuff soon too. And you can also, on our website, submit an audio recording that we can play on the podcast. And we'd love to hear from you and keep you engaged in EdTech Unpacked.
So we've really heard a cool story today from Desmond and his students that sometimes maybe can make you feel a little bit overwhelmed or anxious about getting started on a journey like they've had. But remember, God has a great purpose and place for you in his plan. And we are stronger as we journey together, striving to give our best to the calling of his Spirit. May we always lend a listening ear to our students in need. May our attempts to engage students through technology never interfere with our calling as teachers to minister to the heart and soul of students in need. And remember, there's no substitute for great teaching. It's not just about the tools and technology you use, but how you foster meaningful relationships with your students and to transform their lives. Until next time.